Hi, welcome to the YouTube channel. I'm going to make abstract design using mixed media, and so I have cardstock or poster board to work with, and this is construction paper. I chose 3 to 5 colors. I'm cutting out geometric shapes, and you can cut out organic shapes if you want. I recommend cutting about 5 different shapes per color just to get started. It helps you kind of compose it. So let's think about composition. The principles of design: variety, unity, pattern, balance, rhythm, movement, and contrast. So choose 2 of those principles of design for your composition and for your work of art. So as you're cutting things out, you're going to focus on how you're going to design your abstract work. Great. So first place your shapes, and what I recommend you do is take one color and place it kind of so it moves around and it balances it out. So I'm going to place the yellow 1, 2, and 3. I think about 3 colors first, maybe 4. You can overlap the shapes as well. And then as you choose a different color, you can add more to it. It just depends on the size of it and how you want to balance it out. And turn your paper because you want it to balance. And a composition can be balanced in all different directions. So I've got my purple, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to turn, and then I'm going to choose a different color or just keep adding. So I'm going to start overlapping my shapes and adding smaller shapes on top to large shapes just to see how this is going to compose and if I like it or not. Keep turning your paper and deciding what you want to do with it. So I like my arrangement, so I think what I'm going to do is glue everything down. So I'm going to speed this up, move everything off my piece of paper, and glue everything down. Now it's not going to be the same, but at least I had an idea of the colors that I liked. I pre-cut things, so all I can do is really focus on gluing it down and enjoying the process of this. Great. So once you finish gluing it down, you're going to have some gaps. So what I like to do is take some oil pastels, and I chose a different color. You can choose the same color of what you've already been using, and I'm going to carefully fill in the gaps with the color. Now if you don't have gaps, you could make shapes and colors on top of it. Whatever works for you. I normally find gaps, so I'm going to color over my color paper as well as fill in the square. And I did use a square for my poster board or cardstock. I think that's a little bit easier to work with, but that's just my preference. Okay, great. So now what you want to think about are the or blend too. You can add some white and you can blend with the white, and I'm going to speed this up a little bit more. I thought it would look better, a little bit more contrast if I added the white. But what I'm noticing as I continue to add lots of layers, it gets kind of built up with the oil pastels. So what you can do as it builds up is just kind of tap the excess like that, just kind of flick it and then move it off the paper, because all those little pieces will become art. So for more contrast, I'm going to add black. I liked the white for it, but I'm going to add black. I'm going to outline around everything pretty boldly. And so I'm going to think about the elements of art. So what are the elements of art? Color, line, and shape, and then value, space, and form, and then texture. So how do you want to arrange your work? What is going to be your focus? So choose maybe 3 of the elements of art for your abstract design for whichever one you've chosen. So I'm outlining what I did. I just think it would look kind of cool. And the more layers you put on this, I think the better it looks. I think a lot of abstract art has a lot of layers. So I'm going to blend with the blending stump. You can use a number 1 or a number 2 or a number 3. The larger one, you can just get larger areas, and I am using probably a number 2 for my blending stump. And yeah, just smoothing this out. It goes into the paper. I kind of like that look, but you choose how you want it to look and take your time with this if you choose to do this step. Great. So the next thing I want to do is add white, because I think I just need a little bit more of a contrast. I really like contrast, so that's going to be one of my principles of design. I also like movement, where the color is going in either a diagonal or it is getting balanced out, which is another form of abstract design. Okay, so if you're happy with that, what you can do next is add some tempera paint. And I think it's kind of fun to add some texture using the tempera paint by splattering. So you're just going to tap, 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 tap the brush. You need a lot of paint at the tip of your brush or the whole brush. Kind of load it. You can also kind of flick your brush, which is kind of like just, add a little bit more water too, and flick it. But be mindful of your environment as you do this, because you don't want to get it on other people's artwork or all over your clothes. So I think it looks kind of cool. I'm adding more. I'm trying to get to the edges too, not just the center. And then what you can do is paint. If you just don't want to flick or splatter, you can paint. And I'm just twirling the colors, kind of blending them. And then I thought, well, what else could I do with this as I turn it? So I decided to get out a toothbrush, and I thought the toothbrush might give it some more texture, a little bit more design. I'm just kind of stroking it with the toothbrush for some fun. So again, this is mixed media, multiple layers. Turn your paper often. Think about the principles of design and then also the elements of art. And what you're going to want to do is present this as to how you chose what you chose and why, and how it works with it. So to finalize everything, I'm adding dark blue to kind of emphasize movement and unity, to just kind of pull it all together. Another thing is the border can help unity too, just to draw your eye back into the picture plane. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, liking, subscribing to my YouTube channel. You can also revisit paper and oil pastels, obviously when it's dry. And please like and subscribe. Enjoy.